like drama in my life at all, at all. I like drama in my books, not in my life. Hey everyone, hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to, well, here's the deal. I saw Jennifer Brooks. She recently hit a milestone of 5 years on Booktube. Congratulations, Jennifer. Girl, you get it. I love that. I love that she spent 5 years on Booktube. And she asked her audience, her community, to ask questions. She asked you all to ask her questions. And you all sent her some awesome questions. And as she was answering questions about her time on Booktube and the book, the Booktube space, I was so intrigued. And that thing happened where I was like, I want to answer these questions for myself because I think they're so interesting. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. You'll get things like, how do you balance reading and Booktube, with your life? Have you thought about Patreon? Did you make any mistakes? So you're going to get questions like this. I'm going to leave them listed down below, and if I'm brave enough, I will weaponize this into a tag, and I will tag some of you all. So, keep on the lookout for that. Without any, actually, I'm going to say hi. If you're new here, hi, I'm Shelly. I love Booktube. I love books and reading. It's like my favorite thing in the world. And I just love this space. If you were also just a big fan of Booktube, or you have no idea what Booktube is, but you think that the sound of it is, sounding right to you, I would encourage you to subscribe, stick around, and without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. I think it's just painfully obvious, not painfully, but I think it's quite obvious that I'm going to be putting on makeup. I'm going to be putting on makeup while I answer these questions. This is a usual segment on my channel. I don't typically talk about the makeup, but I like the vibe of just like, I'm sitting down with my girlfriends or with some friends, not really, I'm not gender exclusive, here, but with just some friends, and I'm getting ready like for something, and we're just chatting, and I'm not in a rush, and we're just hanging out, that kind of thing. So it's really relaxing and chill, and this is, again, a regular segment on my channel. So let's go ahead. I wrote out the questions extremely messily, so hopefully, I don't know, we will see if I can read my own handwriting, and we'll see if we can end on a high note. Those are my two goals here. I'm gonna keep things really light with the base. Sometimes I'm just telling myself this because I'm pretty sure most of you are just like, you don't really care. We're kicking off with this question. What has surprised you the most about Booktube? Both good and bad. I think that was it. So I think my answer is going to be rather run-of-the-mill. My answer of the good is I look so just stunning like this, right? The thing that has surprised me the most is meeting people that I adore, that I truly have built wonderful and incredible and beautiful and just amazing friendships with. They have been other Booktubers, they've been subscribers, and I'm just in awe of essentially the community aspect of Booktube. It's incredible. Those who comment on my channel regularly or semi-regularly, I know your names, like I know your commenter names. I look out for you all. I think about you all. I have, a lot of times I carry your words with me. I'll give an example, is more recently I was talking about the changes and how the school year is starting or has essentially started, and just talking about my struggles with this summer and how everything went down. I was basically giving you all a life update of what transpired over the summer and where I've landed now. The amount of comments, and it wasn't even the volume, but it was the sincerity of the comments in that video from you all saying that my students are lucky to have me, that I could get really emotional, that, you all are so excited that I get to share my joy with students, that I'm going to be a great teacher. You know, these are all things that I strive to be, that I work on, that gosh, I did not think I was going to get emotional talking about this video, but I guess my example was kind of emotional. That I strive to be the best teacher that I can be. I want to do right by my students, that I have a lot of passion to bring to the table, but I didn't expect others to necessarily see that in me. And then you all leave these comments that are so encouraging and sweet and generous. Like, y'all are so generous with your words. And then here I am getting my room ready and I'm thinking about your comments. Here I am, like, you know, making my posters and getting excited, and I'm carrying the things that you said with me, like with my person and in my mind and in my heart. And it was just such a wonderful and lovely feeling. So, wow, I really didn't expect that. But that is more of that's the community aspect. And then sort of in a grounded everyday life situation, there are people I talk to on Voxer pretty much every day, pretty much every single day. I'm checking in with them about my life, about what's going on, about the mundanity of my life, what I'm making for dinner sometimes, what I'm doing, how I'm feeling. And that's been awesome. Basically, like, I've made real friends from Booktube. Having friends is just such a beautiful part of humanity, of our world, of us as human beings. To make those connections, it is just like, it is so meaningful to me. So it seems like making connections, I should say. I'm gonna wrap this up because, wow, that was really a little bit more emotional and deep than I thought. But making connections with others has just been the best, the absolute best. I feel like that color for base was wrong, so it's okay. We're fixing it now, y'all. We're fixing it now. I'm over here trying to think about the bad of Booktube. All of it has just been really low-key stuff, and it's more like the occasional icky comment, the occasional like drama, like that drama within the community that can stress me out, but I stay away. I don't like drama in my life at all. I like drama in my books, not in my life. Sort of like when the community gets a little out of sync and there's just like a lot of vicious and, I would say like when we forget to be kind. And that does happen occasionally with a comment, with the community. I think that's really it. Usually sometimes I'll get like, stress is not even the right word. Sometimes something in my own mind will blow up out of proportion. Like, I have too much going on, like with the community, like I've just signed up for too many things and I don't know how to manage it. And I'll get stressed, but I tend to not bring that. Actually, I've sort of made it a rule not to bring that to Booktube because that's just not the vibe I want in my channel. And it's like, I will deal with it in the background and make changes, and then moving forward, I'll like, those changes will be in place, and no one needed to know that like I was feeling a little stressed or that something was just, something had grown into a bit of a mountain in my mind rather than the molehill that it needed to be. And so sometimes, that happens, but really the good far outweighs the bad. Again, like, just whenever you're with humans and humanity, there are times where we lose our perspective of who we're interacting with. I think that I'm not somebody who like trolls I don't troll anybody or anything, but like, I think that there are just times where we just forget, or like our emotions take over, and there's like an emotionally driven sort of force through the community, and things need to get aired out, and they get aired out and everything is fine. But when that happens, it tends to like really, it upsets me because I don't like conflict. And so you're really getting a lot about me. And so that can kind of bug me. But then it all kind of settles down. We get to a new normal, and we're all good. So occasionally that happens, but thankfully I've never been in the center of any kind of drama. Again, I don't like drama in my life at all, and so I tend to avoid things like that. And again, the occasional comment will kind of get to me, but for the most part, it rolls off me like water on a duck's back, to be truly honest. Next question, how do you balance reading and booktube? Well, I'm totally obsessed with both. That is the honest and true answer in the Californian voice that I am. Like, I'm totally obsessed. Reality, I love both things a lot. I love, like, for me, half of the joy of, well, not half, I don't know. I don't know what percentage, but part of the joy of reading books is talking about them. And before I had you all, I was subjecting my sweet, kind, wonderful, amazing husband to all of my bookish thoughts. Bless him, truly, because woo, I have so many thoughts. And now, instead of bombarding him with my thoughts about Booktube, I bombard him with thoughts about other things. I mean, about books. Now I bombard him with thoughts about Booktube. But they typically, you know, I mean, he's so kind and generous to me. I've really got a good one with me. I chose a good one, y'all. But y'all know that. So, oh my gosh, I'm working in a very southern environment, and so my southernness is really coming out, y'all. This is just what happens when I'm around a lot of Southerners. I mean, I have been here 13 years, so I shouldn't be too hard on myself, but you know, how do I balance it? So I think part of it is just that I am really obsessed with all of it. Now, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty with reading, I have set times that I read. I read at night for the most part. In the afternoons and the evenings is my reading time. Occasionally I get it in the afternoons. Sometimes in the mornings, kind of more, it's become rarer and rarer to be reading in the mornings. But I have a routine. I have my reading routine, and I love it so much. It's really important to me. Some people have their workout routines. I have my reading routine. And I've said this before in a video, but reading is a way for me to be healthily selfish. It's being selfish in a healthy way, and I think it's incredibly important to me as I move through my life, especially at this stage. So, and Booktube, now when I am working, I'll sit down and film, you know, 1 or 2 videos, and then I'll, you know, put them up when I edit them throughout the week. When I'm working, that's what worked best. And it really is, like, it's a labor of love. It really, really is. But it's like, I love it. I love it so much. I love Booktube. I love doing Booktube. I love making videos. It's really important to me. I think about it constantly. I love this hobby. It's like a really intense hobby for me. And I love it. Like, I think about different ways I can set up this room, different ways I can angle the camera. I have more ideas than I know what to do with, which we'll come up with in just a moment. And like, I just love it. Like, some people, I remember making a video in the early part of this is really chatty, y'all. You're getting real chatty, Shelly. I made a video in the early part of the year, and I was like, I'm starting work because I was going back to work for the first time in like 3 years, pretty much. And I was nervous about just not having this space, or like I was nervous about what was going to happen to this space. And you know, I'm going through another change again. I'm a little less nervous about this space, but totally open to the fact that it's going to change. There was like several comments of like, if you don't post for a while, we'll still be here, and we'll be here regardless, and just take your time, no worries, like whenever you post, like, I'll be watching, kind of thing. It was really sweet. So many sweet comments. And then I basically slowed down a little bit, but not really, hardly at all. Like, I still put up like pretty much on average 3 videos a week. And it's because I just love this space so much. So in all practicality, for the most part, I sit down and chat with y'all on the weekends. Like, in all like practical terms. I typically know I have an idea or several ideas that I want to talk to y'all about, and I sit down and make that time on the weekends. And then throughout the week, or maybe I'll start editing a video on the weekend, and then throughout the week, whenever I'm done editing it, I'll put it up. Typically, you know, I don't have any kind of schedule, and there might be I don't know. I don't actually think there's a question about that, but I don't have a schedule at all. I don't even have a number of videos that I aspire to put up every single week. I put up what's natural, what I can do. It typically ends up being about 3 videos a week. It's just because it happens to be that way. I've never had a posting schedule. That is what works best for me. I don't treat this like a job at all. I am just an intense hobbyist and I love it. Like, I love it, and I would not change anything about that. So typically on the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, I sit down, I do my video, I talk to y'all, and then I'll get started on editing it. I do pretty minimal editing at this point. I've learned to edit minimally because otherwise it can just suck up a lot of time, and I want to use that time to be with my family, to read, to think about my work. And so you kind of learn, I've learned to do a give and take with my time. So how do I balance it? I balance it because I love it. I genuinely love these two things like so much, that it's kind of intense sometimes. Like, my husband's like, you've been working on your channel and reading like a lot this week. And I'm like, I know, baby. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah. So, and then with reading, I have a schedule. I have like a routine. I really would say that I have healthy routines for both. That's really the true answer. It just took me a while to get there. But again, it's like, if I like to talk to y'all a lot. So when I don't, it feels strange. So in that way, I make sure that like videos go up. But I've never held myself to any kind of standard. I've always let myself do what's natural, and that has helped me a lot when it comes to building a healthy relationship with Booktube, just making sure that I'm always in a healthy place with my Booktube channel. And when I feel the pressure, when I feel like something is off, I investigate those feelings and I honor my feelings with it. That's how I balance reading a Booktube. Y'all, like, I really, I guess, had a lot of thoughts about this. The next one is, have you ever thought about Patreon, like starting a Patreon? If you don't know what a Patreon is, you probably all do, but it is a way to pay creators for extra perks. A lot of people do it for extra perks. Some people, the way that I've seen it and that I've liked it the most is that they treat it like a tip jar for your videos. Like, they're tipping you for showing up and making content. I have thought about a Patreon. I feel weird. The best way I like Patreon, so sometimes it's like, if you pay $5, you get to be a part of my exclusive book club. If you pay $10, then you will be a part of the Zoom call I do with my $10 patrons every month. It's like a tiered system, and it's very like an exchange of time and goods for money. That's how Patreon typically works. What I have liked about it is that it is a way to support the creator on their channel without necessarily any extra perks attached. And then if a perk does come, it's just to everybody. It's very fair. I've seen a lot of people do that, or they treat it like a tip jar, like a coffee account, but it's on Patreon, and you're tipping them $1 or $5 every month, and there's not necessarily an exchange of goods. You're just there supporting the channel so that they continue to be on the platform, and there's a monetary reason to do so. I hope this is making sense. Typically when I say that, I'm far clearer than I give myself credit for, but I hope I'm making sense. So I've thought about the Patreon as just like opening it up so that people can support my channel. But whenever I think about that, I cannot get over the fact that I feel like y'all are friends. That I'm asking my friends for money. I cannot get over that feeling. Like, it doesn't, even my channel at its current size, it still feels like y'all are, like, we're just this little tiny tight-knit community talking about books and having fun. I don't want to be tipped. Like, I'm good, y'all. I'm good. So I've thought about it, but whenever I think about actually doing it, I just land on no thanks. I'm good. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about Patreon. Just in general, not if I should start one, just general thoughts. I would just love to know. Did I make any mistakes, or have I made any mistakes? Yes and no. I think that I have followed the path of certain booktubers have a very similar path as me. and it is like doing too much, like doing so much, like continuing to pile on. I figured out over a year ago that I was doing way too much. Like I was just every event, every readathon it seemed like I knew about, every buddy read, every group read, I was doing everything. And I had to really kind of sit myself down and assess what was giving me joy and what wasn't. And I made changes from there. And for me, what gives me joy is doing a little less, like having a little more breathing room, doing a teeny tiny bit less, rather than doing a teeny tiny bit more. Like I am not Steve Donahue over here. Steve Donahue is a book critic. I mean, we're all book critics in our own right. He gets paid for his written book critiques. And so anyways, and he just reads a ton. He reads like on average, I think 3 books a day. And so when he is the host of like 9 events, he has time for that. And it took me a little while to realize that I am not Steve Donahue. And you know what, that's fine. Have I made any mistakes? I think, yeah, like if anything, being too obsessed with Booktube. But yeah, I think it was just like when I was just so enthusiastic and so excited when I first started making videos and putting them up that I was just saying yes to everything. And I think in a lot of ways it served me well because I tried out a bunch of things when I first started. But over time, I had to really kind of assess what was giving me the most joy and why, and kind of backing up and actually doing less. I've just learned what works for me. Doing less in terms of like events and how much I participate in and hosting and being on other people's channels. Like the amount, this is a flourishing community, which is a wonderful thing to have. But for me, sometimes saying no is better for me than saying yes to everything. Last year I participated in reading in way more prizes than, like I was reading way more women's prize books, way more Booker books. I was way more in the prize circuit kind of thing than I am now. And I'm at this point in my life, that's working better. Just doing a teeny bit less than a teeny bit more. I'm gonna put on some mascara. Advice to new booktubers. My advice is going to be do what, like honor your feelings. Honor what you want to do. At the end of the day, everybody, when you start a new channel, everybody starts at 0. Unless you have an audience from somewhere else and you start off with like a lot. But for the most part, everybody starts out, and you start off with a lot of subscribers and you have views. But for the most part, everybody starts at 0. Make the videos that you want to make. Make it a time of exploration and learning about yourself and trying to understand this hobby. Like do what you want to do, because at the end of the day, one of my philosophies for the channel is audience of one. Like I'm making videos for me. I'm making videos for the pleasure of my time. Like I enjoy doing this. And so if I want to put together a vlog, which I did in my early days, I did some vlogging. And this is similar to what Jennifer Brooks said. She said, try everything once. And for me, it's like, if you want to do a vlog, if you feel like you want to do a vlog and you think that that's going to be awesome, then don't worry about who's going to watch it, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's creating it. And it's going to be how you feel about the process. And we'll get into numbers and algorithm in just a second. But especially as a new booktuber, like don't hold back. If you feel like doing something, if you have an idea that you want to do, go for it. Like just go for it, because you might find that you really like something and you wouldn't have known that until you tried it. So don't, and also if you, there's a certain booktuber whom I've already mentioned who makes 3 or 4 videos or 5 videos or 2, every single day, a certain Steve Donahue here on the platform. And when I saw his channel, I realized that if I wanted to make 2 videos every day, if I wanted 2 videos to go up today, that I would not be an outlier, that there are people that's how they run their channel and it works for them. And so there's not one way to be a booktuber. There's also booktubers who put up a video a month. Ben from Doom Antidote love his channel. He's not been making very many videos, but when he shows up on this space, man, I watch his video and it feels like he's having fun doing it. And I love that. Like, I love that. And so, you know, if you are like somebody who just wants to put up a video a month because that's what makes sense to you, or if you're somebody who wants to put up 3 videos a day because that makes sense to you, and that's what really gives you the most amount of joy, or if you're somewhere in between, you know, then I would say just go for it. Like, just do what makes you happy. And as you're learning the space and learning the ropes and learning how to do Booktube that in a way that works for you, you know, be open to change and evolution for your channel, because you know, most of us are doing this for fun. Like, most of the community is doing this for fun. And so, you know, what harm is it if you want to just, you know, explore, maybe do something different? There's space for that, is what I'm trying to say. And for the most part, the thing that has given me the most amount of joy is to know that, like, I'm making videos that I want to make. I never do videos that I feel pressure to make, or that I don't want to make, or that I don't want to sit down and do. I always do a video that I want to do. And I do it in the way that I want to do it. So I realized a while back that I like putting on makeup like this. I like putting on makeup and sitting down and chatting with you all. That is one of the things that I like. And for a little while, I was very worried that nobody liked that nobody wanted to watch that it's boring for you all. And I just was like, do I like it? Yes. So what does it matter? What does it matter if somebody else doesn't like it? You know, this isn't my full-time gig. This isn't, you know, that's not the relationship that I want to have with Booktube. I do this because it really truly gives me a great amount of pleasure. And so if I want to sit down and make a super chatty video while I put on makeup, I'm going to do that because it gives me a lot of joy. As you're exploring, sort of, you know, pay close attention to what gives you joy and what works for you, like what you enjoy doing. And then go with that, and then don't be afraid to evolve. So if you're like, I really want to do a vlog, if I really want to try X, Y, and Z, then try it. You know, there's just no harm in it. And so yeah, so that's my advice to new booktubers. Oh, the next question is actually kind of rolled up for me into, well, it's a couple of different things, but they're kind of rolled up into one. So I'm going to answer them a bit together. So how do you decide on what videos to make? Are you ever overwhelmed with video ideas? And the algorithm. So about sometime last year, I think it was in October, I said I was quiet quitting my channel because I could tell. So what that means is that I had monetization on. Monetization helps with the algorithm, helps push your channel out further into the ether so that people can find you. YouTube likes to make money on channels. And so I could just tell that I was paying way too close attention to what you all watched, to the back end of things, to the numbers. And I was starting to really define my content around what y'all were watching. And I didn't like that. It was starting to become really not fun for me. So I decided to turn monetization off and see what happened. And emotionally, it really helped. It really helped me focus on the content that I wanted to make, focus on the relationship that I wanted to have with Booktube. And I don't know, it was a lot better for me. Now, recently-ish, kind of more recently, I've turned monetization back on. And here's why. I felt like I had really developed a strong relationship with myself and my channel, and that monetization really wasn't going to bug me anymore. I also realized from feedback from you all that YouTube plays ads on my videos anyways. It doesn't matter if monetization is off. And when YouTube plays ads on my videos, they're getting 100% of the cut, essentially. Like, they're getting 100% of the profit when they play videos on my channel, and my channel is not monetized. So I don't get any of that money. They get all of the money. So once I sort of realized that YouTube was already playing ads on my videos, and that I had built, more importantly, that I had built a really strong relationship with myself and YouTube, and the back end of YouTube and all of that I was fine to turn it back on, and it really hasn't affected me. don't really pay attention to it, which is what I think it should be. Like, there, unless this is your bread and butter, unless this is like the thing that is gonna make you, you know, you. I just was like, even when I talked about it with my husband too, he was like, so YouTube is putting ads on your videos, you can't control that, and you're not getting anything from it, like and he was like, that's wrong. And so, you know, so it was kind of a mix of a lot of things, and I have not turned this into a side hustle. This is just, I'm not really worried about how much money I'm making. Just every few months, I can reap some like money from this channel, and it's just not a big deal. So, and I do think it was really important for me to turn off my monetization, so I could gauge a better, I could develop a better relationship between myself and this channel, myself and Booktube. And I think that was a really important step in my process. But as of right now, my channel is monetized. You probably see ads before all of my videos. Yeah, I know a lot of you have ad blockers on there. I've always watched ads on people's videos. I don't watch them through so they get more money. No, please don't. Save your time, y'all. Save your time. But a 5-second skippable ad that you can skip and click through and then go to someone's video. I've been a YouTube watcher for like over a decade. It doesn't really bother me. It's not a big deal. And so I figured I'll just put it on, and hopefully it won't be a big deal for you all. And so you can just click on through and watch the video. So, yeah, so how do I decide? Now, that was kind of like the algorithm and sort of how things have changed. And, you know, since I've turned the algorithm on, I don't think I've grown tremendously or anything like that. We'll get to numbers in just a second. But how do I decide what videos to make? And am I ever overwhelmed by video ideas? Yeah, I have way more ideas for videos than I have time to make them. I constantly have video ideas. I'm like, I could do a review. I could do single book reviews of every book that I own. I could do, I'm just like, I have so many ideas. I have more shelves to do shelf tours or shelf confessions. I have got a lot of ideas, and it is just, I mean, I could do cover recreation. I mean, I have just so many ideas, and half of them don't even come from me. Half of them are because I watch a lot of Booktube and I get ideas from you all, and I want to do that. I want to do the thing. So how do I decide? I just do whatever is most exciting to me in the moment. For example, I'm doing this tag of sorts, this, you know, this questionnaire that I might change into a tag, because it's what I wanted to do, and it really kind of tickled me, and I wanted to talk to you all about this. So how do I decide on what videos to make? You know, usually I can only choose between 1, 2, or 3 videos that week, and so I just choose whatever I'm feeling most excited about. And also sometimes it's incumbent upon like my setup. So if I do with my picture book videos, I do an overhead shot and I flip through the books. And sometimes that takes a minute to set up. And so while I'm in that setup, I'll do some other things while I'm in that setup. So sometimes it's incumbent upon the setup. But for the most part, I just do what I want to do. I think y'all are getting that vibe from me. Like, I just do what I want to do. This is like a play area. I love it so much. It's so amazing. It's amazing. All right. Next question. Have you regretted posting a video? No, not really. Some of my earlier ones are a little cringy. Like, I'm just a baby booktuber. And I'm still kind of a baby booktuber. But like, some of them are like real cringy, y'all. So, you know, it is what it is. There was 2 videos, one of which was when I was like, I'm going to read the 1001 children's books you must read before you grow up. And as you've seen over the years, I have like not updated y'all on that progress, because I feel like things are very blushy right now. It's all right. I'm getting distracted. I don't like big projects. I'm a very like mood, mercurial, is that the right word? Emotional. Like, I do things based on my mood. I can, like, you know, like I'm sort of systematically going through my shelves and doing shelf tours. And I'm liking that because it's giving me a lot of joy. And it's, you know, but I'm not saying, you know, I have to show you all of my books. And I'm going to show you all of my books. for this project to be complete. That's not, you know, it's like whenever I come up with parameters in which there could be perfection, that's when I start to crumble. And I don't like that relationship with myself. And so, you know, so I was like, y'all, I'm gonna read the 1001 books you can read before you grow up. I did all the work behind the project. I created Goodreads shelves. I was like gonna do it. And then when it came to actually doing it, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And you know what? I didn't. I was just like, I'm just gonna move on. The other thing I have like regretted, but I don't really like sit here being like, I regret posting it. There is, what is the 100 book challenge? You read 100 books before you can buy another book. I'm not going to do that. But then Steve Donahue came up with the 100 book challenge with a twist. Of course he was being snarky. And he was like, you should buy 100 books before you read another book. And so I made a video and I did not realize how serious I came off in that video. And everybody was like, oh my goodness, Shelly, what are you doing? Like, you're gonna buy 100 books before you read a book? Girl, what you doing? I even got Voxer messages about it. Like, are you okay, girl? And I was like, no guys, I was kidding. And then I realized that I'm not very good at kidding. Like, I think I'm too sincere for it. So it didn't come off as kidding, and I had to make another video being like, I'm not actually going to buy 100 books before I read a new book. I was just joking. And so I kind of had to eat my words, but it was fine. It was fine. It was totally fine. And we moved on. And then I realized something about myself. You know, it's like whatever video I regret, which I don't ever really regret making videos, I end up just learning something from it. And I was like, girl, you cannot just like kid with people about buying 100 books before you make a new video, before you read a book, okay? The next couple questions kind of all go together, so I'm going to read them all together and answer them all together. So, is the number of views / subscribers meaningful to you? Is it a measurement of success? Are you disappointed by growth, like the growth of my channel? I've been really incredibly lucky in that my channel has always been growing. Occasionally I have a weird weekend and it's like a mass exodus of subscribers, which is always sort of, you know, jarring. But I think that YouTube cleans out accounts occasionally. And so the more I've realized when I have like a bad weekend, like said, you know, 20 subscribers leave or something, that other people have also had a weird or bad weekend. So, but you know, I laugh it off because it's kind of silly. Meaningful to me, I'm always so I have been I am speaking from a channel that has had steady growth, sometimes more rapid and sometimes slower than others. You know, sometimes I have more rapid growth and other times it's been a bit slower or stagnant, but it's always been upward growth. And I've had it. And I would say that I'm always surprised by it. And I'm always really grateful about it. It's, you know, in number of views, I mean, there's, like, I don't know, you kind of get used to, or at least I have gotten used to, what videos will probably do well and what videos will probably do a little less well. And again, I make these videos often for me to get out my thoughts and feelings and excitement about books. So I've really detached like my value as a creator from the views. Now, if a video does really well, it tends to always surprises me. Like, it always surprises me. I've learned that just because I put a lot of effort into a video doesn't equal success or a lot of views. And so I really try and detach any kind of expectations of my channel and how I feel about my channel with views and subscribers. But I will say that I've just always been really I've always been lucky that my channel has been growing. I'm just always really grateful. You know, I'm really grateful. I really stand in that space of gratitude for, and I could get, again, really choked up about it. I'm just always surprised that somebody wants to watch my video, hang out with me, talk about books with me. It delights me. It delights me. And so when something, you know, when I get a lot of views on something, or when I get very few views on something, I really don't let it get to me either way. I try not to let it get to me either way. And more often than not, when something is doing really well, that's when I start to, I'm a little overwhelmed and surprised. But if something doesn't do well, or like gets a low amount of views or something like that, I'm not like, oh, you know, what's happened? I need to change that. I'm never going to do that again. It really doesn't affect me. And again, when something is doing well, that's when I start to get a little overwhelmed and a little like, I'm just surprised that people want to watch me and spend time with me, or that people are interested in what I have to say, sometimes it's not even about like a me thing. It's like, oh, I guess I made a pretty good thumbnail. Like, that's kind of cool. But I tend to detach any kind of like value or a measurement of success. Like, I'm like, okay, so, you know, this did well. That's good. That's cool. But it doesn't mean I'm going to do more of that. Really. Like, I'm still going to do what I want to do. So yeah, it's different. Of course, there's sometimes I get like a little bit of like the fantasy of my channel, where I'm like, I want to be a classics channel. And then I've really backed away from anything like that. I'm like, I like reading. I read naturally. I read kind of a bit of everything. That's who I am. That's what makes me the most happy. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. And so whenever I start to form some sort of plan, like, I'm going to read all of Hilary Mantel's books this year, you know, then I'm like, the moment I say that on my channel, I'm going to be like, I don't want to do that. So, you know, it's just, yeah, you know, the things that you've learned, one learns about oneself when on Booktube is kind of incredible. So, have I been disappointed by growth? No. No, I think in the earlier days of my channel, I thought, you know, I'm going to have, I don't know. Who knows what I thought in the earlier days of my channel. I was just a baby booktuber. No, I've not been disappointed by growth. If anything, I'm shocked. I'm shocked at how many y'all are here. And I'm ever so grateful that there are so many of you, because wow. Yeah. Have you ever thought about quitting Booktube? No, you'll have to drag me away kicking and screaming. No, I've never thought about quitting Booktube. If anything, I have to like prepare myself emotionally if I'm going to slow down, you know? Like, if I'm like, Shelly, if you slow down, it's okay. You're still going to be on Booktube. Just because this space has just become so incredibly important to me. I love talking with y'all. It's just been really wonderful. No, I've never thought about quitting. If anything, again, you'll have to drag me away from here kicking and screaming. The comments section. So comments, which ones have been the most touching to me? Which ones have been the most negative? I have gotten some really, I'm like, I don't want to share. They just mean too much to me. I've gotten some really meaningful comments about how much my channel means to somebody. You know, any kind of, when you all let me in on how much like this space means to you, those always really touch me, because again, you know, there's always a bit of an awareness that, you know, I'm sitting in a room by myself talking to the camera. Yeah, negative, no, I mean, occasionally I get the one-off weird comment. Yeah, I mean, I'm just ever so grateful for the touching comments, and those are like, I carry those with me everywhere, as I mentioned, earlier in the video. So yeah, but negative comment, you know, every once in a while someone's like, I'm so disappointed in you. Like, okay, all right, whatever. You know, every once in a while I'll get like, this would have been a good video if it was 15 minutes long. I think I got that one recently. I was like, whatever, you must be new here. You know, just like, again, water off a duck's back, the negative comments, the really sweet and, you know, like the sincere comments that I get from y'all have just been, it's like, it just blows me away. It blows me away. And that's what sticks with me the most. Okay, and the last one is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I see myself still doing this. Wherever I'm at, whatever I'm doing, I want to be reading and I want to be talking to y'all. That's just what I want. Yeah, there was a question about, like, are you surprised you haven't hit 10,000 subscribers yet? Or, after being 5 years on Booktube, but that really wasn't applicable to me. Do you see how much I'm just changing the subject before I get too sappy? In 5 years, go back to the question. In 5 years, I still want to be doing this. I want to be reading. I really hope to be reading. I strive to be a reader, a lifelong reader and learner. And I hope that I'm still talking with people who love books and reading. And I hope to still be talking to a camera and talking about my thoughts about books and reading. And just continuing to contribute to this incredible space. Jennifer Brooks mentioned something about, like, one of the best decisions she ever made in her life was to do Booktube, and something else, like traveling, solo travel, I think it was. I'm sorry if I'm misquoting you, Jennifer, but I wholeheartedly agree. One of the best things that I've done in my life is to start a Booktube channel, and connecting with readers and incredible people in this world. And I'm just ever so grateful, ever so grateful. So, before I get too sappy, thank you so much for watching. If any of these questions, I'm going to tag people below if you're interested in doing this. You know, you Booktubers out there, if y'all are interested or have more questions for me, then please let me know. But for the most part, just thank you for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, as always. I mean, really, really appreciate it. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.